Yes, Zheng Jie, I'm talking. Can you hear me now? Okay. So the final point is for the smooth curve passing through all the points. Now in C part 1, use your graph to estimate the maximum value of y. They said estimate because your graph likely will differ from each other by a bit. Anyway, by looking at, you realize by looking at the table of values, right, you can actually have a good idea of where the maximum value of y is going to be. Look at the values. Find the line of symmetry. 6, 6, 4, 4. This is going to be 0 and 0, -6 and -6, then -14, -40. Can you see the symmetry? If you can, then you can determine that actually the line of symmetry is between x equals to -1 as well as 0. And then the corresponding maximum value for y will be more than 6. But it shouldn't be too far off from 6. Look at the difference from -14 to -6, 8 units. -6 to 0, 6 units. 0 to 4, 4 units. Then 2 units. Then we expect something less. Okay? So something greater than 6. Not too far away. So C part 1, the answer is 6.25. Maximum value for y. And we typically allow a range of answers to be given. Unlike your straight line, where we expect almost exact answers, in the case of a curve, we are more lenient because we understand that different students will have slightly different interpretations of smooth curves. So let's move on to part 2. And then part 3. Part 2, find the value of y when x equals to 2.5. After you have obtained your curve, find the value of x where it is 2.5. So x being 2.5 will be on the right-hand side of the maximum point. X equals to 2.5 somewhere here. And find its corresponding value of y. Y equals to question mark. Similarly for part 3. Take note, they say find the values with a bracket S to see whether you can obtain 1 or 2 values of x. In this case, it is when y equals to -5. Let me change color. When y is equal to -5, obviously near the bottom, you will see that the straight line cuts the curve at 2 points. So this is one value of x, this is another value of x. What is x1, x2? There are 2 values. If you decide to draw your y equals to -5, just like that, you are only going to cut the curve 1 time, and you're going to end up with only 1 answer. Take note that the line y equals to -5 stretches both ways, infinite. And so it will cut your curve at 2 points. And these are the accepted answers for our, okay, so part 2, acceptable range from -2.6 to -3. For part 3, the acceptable range will be from -3.95 to -3.75, as well as 2.75 to 2.95. If you fall within this range, you will get a mark. If you don't, that means you either read your graph wrongly or your graph was not well drawn. Part D was asking for your line of symmetry. So between -1 and 0, we have x equals to -0.5. Take note, must write down x equals 2 for line of symmetry. I'm quite confident this will come out. And sad to say, I also expect some of you to just write -0.5. And then you will lose the mark. You will come out on test, yay, I got -0.5. You also got, then you think you got the mark. But actually, you forgot to write x equals 2, then you lose the mark already. Okay, so for E part 1, estimate the solution. Okay, this is what we are interested in. What is the equation of the graph? Y equals to 6 minus x squared. y equals to 6 minus x squared. This is drawn already. Okay, it's lagging. We have already drawn this. And now they are asking us to use the graph to estimate the solution. I recognize that this portion is the same. 6 minus x squared. All I need to do is to just include a y equals 2. If I include the y equals 2, that means I have already drawn this. Drawn already. So what else do I need to draw? Hey, look, it is y equals to 6 minus x squared, which is at the same time. It is simultaneously equal to 2. Therefore, we draw y equals to 2. Draw y equals to 2. Y equals to 2 is a horizontal line, cutting the y-axis at value 2. And from there, we are going to search for the 2 points of intersection. So if this is my curve, this is just a sketch of my curve. I am going to draw the graph of y equals to 2. One horizontal line. Y equals to 2. And the points of intersection, x1, x2. These two x values will be my solution to the quadratic equation. And then you continue to say, so x equals to whatever or whatever. Those two x values. So what are the acceptable ranges for E part 1? They are negative 2.7 to negative 2.5. That is the first acceptable range. The second acceptable range will be 1.45 to 1.65. These two values. Moving on to E part 2. So here's where it gets slightly tougher, but I remember in class you all could do it. Okay? 5 minus x equals to 0. What does 5 minus x equal to 0 has got to do with this? The graph that you have already drawn. What do they have in common? 6 minus x squared, y equals 2. Okay, this is again drawn already. In order to make it turn out like this, 5 minus x squared equals to 0. In order to reach 5 minus x squared equals to 0, what do I have to do? First, I need to change the 6 to become a 5. How do I change a 6 to become a 5? We need to subtract 1. We need to get rid of the minus x. How do I get rid of the minus x? I need to plus x. So I need to plus x minus 1. And therefore, the graph that we have to draw will be x minus y equals to x minus 1. Okay? And that is, 1 minus x. Draw the line of y equals to 1 minus x. So that when you solve them, y equals to 1 minus x, y equals to 1 minus x. If you were to solve these two simultaneously, question 1, question 2, solve simultaneously, 6 minus x squared equals to 1 minus x. Let's see what is going to happen. 6 and 1, 5. Negative x minus x squared equals to 0. Which is what the question required. Therefore, the graph we had to draw was y equals to 1 minus x. So by drawing that line, we again find the 2 points of intersection for the x values. As shown. These are the acceptable ranges again. Negative 2.35 to negative 2.15, as well as 2.15 to 2.35. Okay, I'll show you the working again for our simultaneous equation. That serves as a way for you to check whether the equation that you have created makes sense or not. So this portion is the checking. The highlighted portion is your checking. Ready? Can? Are you ready, sir? Now, in case some of you are confused, our objective is always to transform this to look like whatever you have drawn. The objective is to transform this given equation to whatever you have already drawn. Compare the 5 and the 6. In order to make the 5 become a 6, you need to plus 1. 5 plus 1 minus x squared equals to 1. In order to make them the same, I need to force out a negative x. So I'm going to include a minus x and minus x. Now on the left hand side, we have 6 minus x squared equals to 1 minus x. We already have drawn our y equals to for this portion. Therefore, we need to draw y equals to this. Draw. Where they intersect will be the solution. Okay? So as you are writing your notes, you can put this down. Make given equation the same as what was already drawn. So we want to transform this to look like this. The moment you can transform it to something that you have already drawn, the right hand side automatically will appear the equation that you need to draw to find the points of intersection. Okay, so now we have chapter 8 also, Pythagoras theorem. Next question. Here, how many right angle triangles do you see? Oh, wait. Explain why it is a right angle triangle. Wow, I nearly fell into the trap. I looked at it, I thought it is a right angle triangle, but turns out we have to prove. Explain why it is a right angle triangle. PRS, PRS. Indirectly, they are telling you that, hey, this is going to be a right angle triangle. I need you to prove it for me. So to do so, we're going to use converse of Pythagoras theorem. So these steps over here, quite standard. A bit hard to see, but basically, square the hypotenuse, the longer side, PR square. Write down the value. 1521. You add up the squares of the other two sides. So the PS square plus the SR square, you get 1521 again. So since these two values are the same, by the converse of Pythagoras theorem, it is a right angle triangle. In addition, we can also, based on this, state the angle that is 90 degrees. Although they didn't ask for it. So likelihood of this coming out for your test on Monday, I think it's quite high. Take note of the variation. How can they vary this? They can vary this by giving you a triangle and asking you, determine if PSR equals to 90 degrees, or determine if it is a right angle triangle. So you have to go through the same steps, but depending on whether these two values turn out to be the same or not, you are going to have different conclusion. If the values are the same, it implies it is a right angle. If the values are different, it implies it is not a right angle. Okay, 50-50 chance. I don't know which one they will test you. So next, calculate the area of PRQ. PRQ. Okay, to find this angle, we can take half times base, since we know that this is 90 degrees already. Half times base times height for the smaller triangle. We got a base already, 15. We got a height as 36. Half times base times height. Area of yellow triangle can be found. Area of the humongous triangle, the largest triangle, also can be found. It has a base of 15 and 39, 15 plus 39. Half times base times 36. Get the area of the big triangle minus the yellow triangle. Or you can skip all those. Skip everything. Just use half times base times the height. One step answer. Okay, so I've shown you two possibilities. Of course, I prefer for you to use this one over here. No need to minus here and there. So the answer will be 702. Next, find the shortest distance from R to PQ. This is also a popular question. R to PQ. Want to find this distance. We know that the total area for this triangle is 702. Area triangle PRQ, 702 square centimeters. We're going to use that to help us determine this shortest distance. Let this be equal to h. If this has a value of h, I'm going to choose PQ as my base, so that half of PQ times h will be 702. Then I can find the value of h. You can find it. However, we need to find the value of PQ. Did they give value of PQ? No, they didn't. They did not give you the value of PQ. So that is something you need to find. And how do we find it? I'll erase this portion first. PQ is the hypotenuse of the largest right angle triangle. So we're going to employ our Pythagoras theorem. Pythagoras theorem will tell us that PQ is going to be square root of 36 square plus 15 plus 39 square. So that is our value of PQ. Substitute in, get the value of h. And its answer will be 21.6 cm to 3 sm. Please check. So I'll post this online also. Okay, now 9x squared equals to 4x. Determine the larger possible value of 3x minus 5 squared. Very unconventional question. Let's see what we can obtain from here. 9x squared equals to 4x. Clearly, we can manipulate the left-hand side. But I'll show you a trap. Okay, 9x squared equals to 4x. Very tempting to divide by x. Divide by x and say that 9x equals to 4. So x equals to 4 over 9. Very tempting to do that, right? Then you only have one x value. If you only have one x value, you put it into this expression, you only get one answer. 3 times 4 over 9 minus 5 a square. You only get one answer. But they really give you a clue, the larger possible value, implying that actually there's going to be more than one answer. They want a larger one. So what is wrong with us factorizing, dividing? Dividing both sides by x to obtain x equals to 4 over 9. What is wrong with that? In the first place, when we do division, we can divide by any number we like, except one particular number. What can't we divide by? We cannot divide by 0, isn't it? You can divide by anything you like, but you cannot divide by 0. Did they say that x is not equal to 0? No, they didn't say that. That means x could be equal to 0. There is a chance that it could be 0. With that chance, we cannot start to divide by x already. Because the fact that you divide by x implies that you are saying confirm not 0. X confirm not 0. That's why I divide by x. Well, that's not true. There is no basis for you to say that. Therefore, the approach is to factorize. Our 9x squared minus 4x is equal to 0. I think it's a little too small, already bigger for you. 9x squared minus 4x equals to 0. We are going to factorize. 9x minus 4 equals to 0. And you see there are two possible answers already. Either x equals to 0 or 9x minus 4 equals to 0. So we have x equals to 0. I'm just copying it down again. Or x equals to 4 over 9. It is the same 4 over 9 that we saw earlier on. But just at this time, we had a... Wait, is there something wrong? Something wrong? I think wrong. So we have two possible answers for x, 0 and 4 over 9. Now we want to find out the possible values of 3x minus 5 when you square it, given these two answers. So we try first. When x is equal to 0, my 3 times 0 minus 5 square gives me 25. Whereas when x equals to 4 over 9, we have 3 times of 4 over 9 minus 5, and we square it. 4 over 3 minus 5. Okay, so this will give us 9. Is it correct? I don't have a calculator. Is it correct? No, not correct. Let's cancel 4 over 3. 4 over 3 minus 5. 4 over 3 is 1 and 1. 4 over 3 is 15 over 3. 4 minus 15 is how much? 11, huh? Negative 11 over 3, right? Then we get 121 over 9. And then this will be equal to 1. Well, I cannot do this. 31. 31 divided by 9 is what? 3. 3 and 27. 4 over 9. Okay? Really, I cannot. I must remember to bring my calculator. So this is our larger value. So the answer will be 25. This one got careless mistake. All right. Next. Okay, so in chapter 5, we also tested on how to form quadratic equations. So one popular way is by money conversion. The other popular type of question is speed. Money conversion or rate. Let's call it rate. Because sometimes there's water going to container, open another tap, this kind of thing, or this person run at a certain speed, this timing on the return leg, slow down by how much, blah, blah, blah. You have to form the equation. Okay, so for the first portion, part A, 2100 over 2x plus 1. This should not be an issue. Okay, part B, in 2014, he received 10 euros lesser than in 2015. So write down an equation in terms of x and show that it simplifies to blah, blah, blah. Okay. The reason they tell you to show is because even if you lose these 3 marks, even if you cannot show that it simplified to this, you lost the 3 marks, please carry on with part C. Look, it says solve the equation, which means that you can do it. Okay, let's go back to part B now. showing that it simplifies to that. Okay, let me read the question again. In 2014, this is the exchange. This is the amount that he got in euro. In 2015, €1 was worth 2x in rand, and he changed 2100 in both years. So in 2015, he received 2100 over 2x. Okay, with this, we can now compare the value between the amount he received in 2015, which I'm going to highlight, versus 2014. One of them is bigger than the other. Okay, and the difference is €10. Okay, now look at the highlighted portions. What is the difference between them? Numerator same, right? Numerator same. Denominator same? No, denominator not same. Which denominator is bigger? The +1 or the one without +1? +1 is bigger, right? 2014 has a bigger denominator. If the denominator is bigger, what will the result be for the entire fraction? It will be less, okay? Must know this, bigger denominator results in a smaller value. So if we were to compare the two of them, this is smaller, whereas this is bigger. Once you have determined which is big, which is small, you can confidently form your equation, because big minus small must give you $10. So the bigger value, 2100 over 2x. 2100 over 2x minus 2100 over 2x plus 1 equals to 10. So this on the left-hand side, red color, is our formation of equation. With that, it is just your standard addition and subtraction of your fractions. Carry on with your standard step, you will obtain 2x squared plus x minus 105 equals to 0. Be nice to the teacher, write down shown. Since they ask you to show, you write down shown, so that we know, we can zoom in and see, okay, this is where I need to take a closer look at. So the rest of it will be on Google Classroom as well.